Milwaukee's courthouse sits in an imposing complex surrounded by a park. I spent a lot of time working there as a lawyer and a federal agent. When I walked through the park, I had seen people sleeping on the benches, some just out of jail with no place to go. One of those men was my friend Harold. Acting as my ambassador to the streets, Harold introduced me to Milwaukee's underground, a community of people who sleep outside, hiding from police and struggling to survive in doorways and under bridges. It was during our journey underground that I learned everyone has a story.
There's three things that makes a person homeless: alcohol and drug abuse, mental issues, and shit happens.
After getting arrested and going through court and see how court just screws you over 90% of the time, so from there, just like doing drugs, smoking crack, in and out of apartments, in and out of jobs, everything just went straight downhill, and actually didn't care.
Well, I'm sort of waiting on a guy to come back. I might split a 4-pack with him. And the other guy he got took to jail for missing his parole date. But he's a pretty good guy. He wasn't in for anything real major,
The first time I was really homeless, I had a blood clot in my lung. They hospitalized me for a week. I almost died. I went on a drinking, smoking weed, binge, lost a good job. I even went so far to panhandle at the gas station, which is pretty degrading, but I did it.
Well, roommates, we used to live on the dock. We were on the dock of the bay. I'm trying to write a song. Should I sing it? I'm trying to write a song, believe it or not. It goes, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching my life slip away, just waiting for the beer to roll my way, hoping the police will stay away. Now how do you tell me to write it down all the time? He's from Arkansas, Mark. He went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came home. He'd been gone a year and a half now. Never went home.
It was left by a friend of mine, but I plan on reading it because I like this author, David Baldacci. Yeah, it could be a good book. Somebody left it.
Harry did.
I think it was a heroin addict. And I'm like, hey, I know this author. I know that author.
Not sarcastically or anything. Believe me, you don't want to live this kind of life.
I know.
I never wanted to live it, but when I got separated from my wife in '96, my life just went, because I gave up. I just gave up.
I chose to be irresponsible, and I just said, F it, went to the liquor store. So alcohol and drugs played a major role in that also, but it was the decision I made to go and get drunk, get high.
Where'd you sleep when you were sleeping outside?
I couldn't get in the Mission, Martin Luther King Park. You sleep right, pull a bench right between the trees. Have my blanket and everything, lay down and go to sleep.
You ever get bothered by the cops when you were sleeping outside?
Come and shine a light on you, poke you, tell you to get up or you're taking you to jail and go somewhere. So get up. roll your stuff up, wobble away. You can't argue with them, they'll lock you up.
I ain't had too many problems here other than cops coming in once in a while, you know. But some of the cops were kind of good, you know. With you can stay, but you know, clean the place up. We want it cleaned up. So we cleaned it up.
My mother was also homeless. Paranoid schizophrenic, crack addict. That was very hard for me to deal with. I caught 5 felonies. Ended up doing 2 years in prison.
We are probably on our 4th generation of welfare or people who are unemployed. And by that, if you look at this community in 1977 when I first started practicing, we probably had several 100,000 factory jobs which no longer exist. And each generation has gotten progressively worse. And as a result of that, you have homeless. As a result of that, you have an increase in the criminal justice system.
A homeless person comes with a whole set of problems that are somewhat unique to the system. You have the addiction problems, you have the mental health problems. In addition to that, you don't have any type of stable environment for them to reside in. So the expectation, even though the offense may be a low-lying offense, maybe a simple possession of narcotics or something like that, we don't have any stable environment to send them back to. If we don't do something, typically they're going to end back up on the street, back in the environment that they came from, where the problem stemmed from.
You do your time, you're out, no parole, no paper, no nothing. Now what's next? Oh, I need a place to sleep. So you got to do what you know to do. Survive.
Cops, you really want to know what I think about police? I don't trust cops. Period. I don't. They don't see the situation. It's just like they go in and you're guilty of doing something. They don't try to find out what's really going on. Like they just get you arrested, cuff you. I mean, now I'm not gonna blame all cops, but there's a good percentage of them that make the rest of them bad. And I don't know. I just don't trust them.
The system treats you a whole lot different than someone from the suburbs. In fact, sleeping outside the courthouse has become a nuisance. They want to charge you for loitering now. The deputy sheriff make their little rounds, the Milwaukee police make their rounds, and they catch you stressed out with your blankets and pillows and stuff. You got a loitering ticket sleeping in the park. Now, you can't pay the ticket, so why would they want to issue you a citation? You're homeless, you don't have any money. But that's what they do.
I believe they need to have the law enforcement be more courteous or considerate of the homeless person. You're kicking them out of one place to sleep. Can you take them to one of the other places to go sleep? Can you take them to one of the shelters? Not just throw stuff in the garbage and get away from here before we give you a ticket or take you to jail. Some of those homeless people, I probably will take them up when it's really cold outside. They'd rather go to jail than sleep outside.
We were flying a sign last night. The police took our sign. I made an apple and some cookies. He made $1, and the police turned around and took our sign. They call it aggressive panhandling, is what they call it. You stand there with a sign that says, "Homeless and hungry, please help, God bless." But if police come by, sometimes they won't say nothing or do anything. But other times they would turn around and take the sign, pull you over, run your name, see if you got warrants and stuff like that, and they'll give you a $52 ticket for aggressive panhandling, is what they call it. It's not like you're walking up and knocking on everybody's window, "Hey, give me some money." You know, you're doing this and doing that. You're not. You're just standing there. Carrying a sign. But sometimes you
I ain't creeping on you, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even hear him comment.
I'm glad they are there, but I think some of them are assholes, if I can say that. If they knew that you was homeless and you was really just jaywalking like that there, I think they said, "Oh, that's just Harold." And they would actually say, "Okay, Harold, watch the cars," you know, something like that, and keep on going, sure. Instead of just, "Oh, there go a homeless guy," you know. So if they knew me, I think it would make a difference. Sure it would.
They need to have a special squad to just strictly cater to the homeless people. Strictly law enforcement that come and handle homeless situations.
May 16th, myself and Captain Stephen Basting were transferred here to District Number 1. And at that time, we looked at some of the problems that were happening here, and one of the problems that we wanted to address was homelessness. The homeless outreach team was started because I had gone to some training for a problem-oriented policing conference in Arlington, Texas, and what I took away from that was what I brought back to District Number 1 and what we have implemented with absolutely fabulous police officers.
Officer Anthony Leno. I've been on the department for about 10 years now.
I'm Officer Jim Lipinski. I'm going on 7 years now, and after having contacts with these people 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week, I started making contact books.
It's a list of people that we keep, and it's at any time, we can pretty much generally get a description from somebody that needs, like an ID, and we're like, okay, well, I think it's this person, and then we'll hand the book, and he'll just go through it, and then he'll go, okay, that's him. Because a lot of times, a lot of the homeless guys are, they're so intoxicated where you can't talk to them, you can't communicate.
Because it's official documents.
That's a good picture of me. That's when I didn't have the old gray hair, and you were young.
And you were wise. If you're here at 6, 7, 8 o'clock, I'll come find you.
Work with police officers taking calls for service that deal with behavioral emergencies, figure out what's going on with them and how we can assist them. So those calls range from anything from doing a welfare check. Maybe a family member hasn't seen a person in a number of days and they're concerned because they've been depressed or have some kind of mental illness and have been off their medications, to somebody on the edge of a bridge or barricaded in a room threatening to kill themselves. I help provide scene safety and use my medical background to try to rule out medical causes for their behavior or their situation. I am able to carry a bunch of extra equipment. We have actually a whole closet full of things like winter jackets, scarves, mittens, hats. Here's some stuff to help you meet your basic needs. Here's access to shelter resources. Let me give you a ride to the shelter, because I know it's a long way across town and it's 20 below out. The department administration is just kind of taking out all the stops in my job so that I can just go and help people. It's just amazing.
He has to sit down and he's showing some genuine love. That's what he's doing. How you doing? Look, maybe I can make a phone call for you and get you in one of the shelters. That's what he do. He got a big heart.
Having options in addressing negative behavior is always helpful. The option that we have always had, which we are accustomed to, is simply arresting a person and removing them from the place where they are causing a problem.
They're out there doing something and they feel that it's not right. They feel that they shouldn't be doing it. It's illegal, it's an ordinance violation, whatever. And whenever there's police contact, it's always negative police contact, always. When we approach these guys, it was first, it felt like they were so resistive to us, just to find out and introduce ourselves, say hi. We're like a case manager for a lot of these homeless guys. 2 of our guys, he's got some major medical issues and we have to keep an eye on him because otherwise we have to actually follow him around because he's got a bad ticker. I mean, we know them, they know us. It's weird having this relationship with a lot of these guys. Even off duty, I'm walking out here and they're coming up. How you doing? Is this your lady? Hi. Oh, yeah, hey, this is Fred.
Like leaves in the wind, down yonder. The pheasant runs the cornrows. There are much fewer crickets. That grouse it flushes. From down under. Brambles thickets or something. I'm working on it yet.
I'm Chad, I'm with the homeless outreach team. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm homeless. I got a tent. I mean, I don't drink or nothing. I don't do no drugs.
Yeah.
I just coffee and fishing, and that's my big thing. And
yeah,
right now I'm doing pretty good.
If there's anything that you ever need, I can hook you up. We have a bunch of clothing in the van. We have sleeping bags. We have, I got a backpack.
I could use a
stuff.
backpack.
Sure, yeah.
So,
There's a little blanket in there.
okay, well,
What would you say the major reason why you're homeless is?
losing my jobs all the time.
Losing?
You know, not working and that.
So I'm actually part of the CART team, and we do the homeless outreach stuff too.
Okay.
But our contact information is on the back. Yeah. So I mean, if you don't mind, we'll come by and visit you again. If you need anything, let us know.
Okay. I appreciate it.
We try to find them, engage them, ask them, you know, what's their story, and it's just amazing to look at somebody and see what the person behind the homelessness. The homelessness is the symptom. Behind that is a person, and that person has feelings. They have a mother, they have a father, they have family, and there's certain factors in their lives which put them into this predicament, and we can try to rebuild that bridge, taking the crumbled pieces and lift them up and help them glue them back together.
Everybody's got a story where they came from, how they got here. They just didn't miraculously poof, and here they are. You know, I mean, we got people that worked in churches. We got people that were welders. We got people that worked in the healthcare field. We got people that were office workers. And whether they lost their job due to the economy or whether it was because they started drinking and they lost everything. One turn of event can change everything, and you can be in his shoes. And it's hard, you know, once you're sliding down that hill, it's hard to put the brakes on. Disaster works fast, recovery is really slow, you know.
One guy was telling me he was sexually abused as a child growing up, never was able to deal with it, turned to drinking. The drinking made him not able to hold a job, and then, you know, now he's living on the street, and people drive by him and they're thinking he's a bum or whatever. Is he a bum or is he a victim?
We are not judges, but when it comes to ordinance violations that are really part of homelessness, the disorderly conduct as a result of alcohol issues, or panhandling as a result of no money, or loitering, for example, a loitering citation to someone who's in an area because they have nowhere else to go. It's those type of ordinance violations that there is a lot of gray area. There's a lot of latitude when it comes to police officer. But the homeless seem to be in an environment that would promote those type of ordinances coming to the attention of the police. And so if we can take a homeless person and instead of, like I said, issuing them a citation, but getting them some help, that's part of the community caretaking that we can do, that we have the authority to do.
Some days it's like, I could just do this for another 8 hours. Other days it's just like nonstop. It's just one problem after another. It's like, sometimes things can be just so peaceful and, you know, you're just out there talking to them, getting the feel of what's going on. Other days, it's like something out of, you know, an action movie. I mean, so much stuff is happening, you know, like drama-wise, and it spreads through like wildfire within their community. And you're trying to, you know, solve this problem.
Sometimes it's overwhelming, and sometimes it's an uphill battle, and sometimes it's really sad. And my officers come to me and they have stories, and they listen to homeless people who they have made a connection with. And what the officers have come back to me with is that sometimes a homeless person just needs to find somebody who cares about them.
The hardest thing to see out here in a homeless is they've accepted their fate. It's kind of how they say it. They don't want to do anything except be out here and do absolutely nothing. And we try to stay on top of them to keep their their hopes up.
I had found a cart and stuff in here last time. Milwaukee police! Milwaukee police, homeless outreach. Oh, I already cut my hand open on the... Hello? Hi. Milwaukee police, homeless outreach, how you doing? I'm Chad. How you doing? You been staying here? How long have you been homeless? We have a bunch of stuff in the truck downstairs. There's a couple bags too. There's soap and toiletries if you need any of that stuff. So I'll pass your contact information along. As long as we can get a hold of you, we might be able to hook you up.
I can't believe I lived here for 2.5, almost 3 months in this filth. Not bathing, not showering. My apartment is number 7, but in order to get 7, you got to ring 6. It's fully furnished, everything included, gas and electric, everything's included. $5.50 a month. Ain't bad. I can't complain. It's a studio. We're sleeping on the floor is what we're doing. It is a good feeling to say, hey, Mark, let's go home.
Feels good, huh? Get away? No, I'm glad for you guys. I really am.
You're gonna be able to help us out with a little change, will you, so we can get some?
When I was in court last week, I was nervous. And besides, that's the courthouse that you sleep outside of. And I don't know how many judges have walked past and saw me, you know, when they don't have their robe on, you don't know they're judges, they're regular people.
I haven't been in trouble since 2000. If I can vote, I should be able to get a job without that showing up on my record. Why should I be held for a mistake I made in my life for the rest of my life? I mean, no one's perfect.
They're running the court system a little different today. And I'm finding out about it because I'm not familiar with court systems. So I'm finding out about it. Then you know whether you should go get yourself an attorney or try just dealing with the judge, you know. It's a process it's a learning process, and you don't like learning it because you don't like being experienced. You don't like going there, not even once.
What's bad is they don't have any understanding of the person that's standing in front of them, why he was in this abandoned house when the police went in there because the neighbor called him. They don't understand that, hey man, I'm homeless and it's a little cold outside and I don't have anywhere else to go. The mission is not accepting me. No shelters are not accepting me. I just saw the back door open or the window open, the board removed, so I just climbed in and made myself a pallet over here in the corner and just trying to keep warm, man, till daylight. But if anything had been removed from that house, the hot water heaters, the copper, the cabinets and all that, then you're really charged with burglary until they prove that you did not do it.
There's always been habitual criminals. You know, it's not a new term, but there's nothing to go back to here. When you get out of prison, where are you going? The employers, the neighbors, people who check everybody out now. That's where you get branded. The employment becomes very difficult.
The problem that we found is that a lot of the population that becomes entangled in the criminal justice system are suffering from addiction problems, are suffering from mental health, are suffering from things that the criminal justice system just frankly isn't designed to address.
Courts, just like law enforcement, we're reactionary. I don't think that the court is the ultimate solution in stopping that cycle of poverty and homelessness, because when you're talking about issues of poverty and homelessness, a reactionary approach doesn't necessarily work because the damage is already done. That type of approach needs something more proactive. We like to find out what are the causes that put that person into that homeless situation. So I'll ask questions to find out, you know, we're talking about a situation like, which is most relevant now is foreclosures. People having their houses foreclosed on, and so now they're homeless. There's other situations. You have veterans who did their time at the VA and now are out and still don't have any resources, anything from mental health issues, alcohol or drug issues. Sometimes it's a situation where someone just leaves an abusive relationship, and by virtue of leaving that relationship, they're homeless. So I want to know the underlying causes of the problem, why they became homeless. And then that helps me to craft a sentence that's appropriate for them to dispose of our cases.
You can send out a what they call it, a memorandum or something to your judges under your control, if you will. Tell them to lighten up. You know, you're clogging the system up. You're overcrowding the House of Correction, the county jails, with people that got citations for drinking beer outside at the bus shelter, jaywalking.
The vast majority of the sentences are fines. And so if you're talking about someone who's homeless, you just can't impose a fine and say, here's the fine, you've got 60 or 90 days to pay, good luck. Because you know that the fine's never going to get paid. And when it doesn't get paid, all those fines revert into House of Correction time. I think fines can be an effective deterrent for the general population. The type of violation that you typically see someone who's homeless has are your loiterings, your public urination, stuff like that. Those are the same violations that you have for people who are non-homeless. You know, I'll tell you, on a Saturday afternoon, you go to Camp Randall Stadium to watch the Badgers play football, you'll see some public urination going on. Now, for that demographic, I think the fines are appropriate and a deterrent, all right? But for that other group, that homeless population, I would say, I guess it's about as much of a deterrent as the drug laws are to the crack addict.
The law can be very complicated, and it can be unforgiving. And I'm happy to do what I can, based on my experience, to address people in a way where I am not their lawyers per se and helping them navigate the court system, but I can at least educate them as to what the parameters are, and I can get them in a position where they can help themselves through that system.
Have you written any more poems?
Yes, I finished that one that I started out for Thanksgiving. I did get it out to my mom. She probably didn't get it till Friday though, because I procrastinated and didn't get it finished until Tuesday night. Can't find any mailboxes anymore. Walking all over town, it's like, where's a mailbox? I finally ended up walking to a post office.
So I heard you've been staying with Todd and Mark.
Yeah, a couple nights, yeah. I was there for, I was with them for like 4 days. And then I moved back here. And I was here for, I don't know, I was here probably for 4 or 5 days. Probably 5 days or something.
Where do you guys usually go to fly your sign?
2nd and Clybourne, I think. I don't usually do it. I just make their signs. They keep losing their signs. Either they leave them out and they get wet, or probably the 7th or 8th sign I've made now in the past couple months.
Homeless outrage. So this is where Don lives. We were able to get him on his feet once before, and ended up relapsing and coming back here.
I was on my own aftercare, and I chose to go to this aftercare program, that aftercare program, and I missed a couple in the week. Didn't go to church that Sunday. I remember like it happened yesterday. And next thing you know, I missed several Sundays. Then the next thing in front of me was a relapse. And once I relapsed, all bets was off. All bets was off. So I was too proud, if you will, to ask for some help. Hey, guest house, case manager, social worker, somebody. I'm spiraling out of control. Somebody help me, please. I wouldn't go and ring the bell up there. I chose not to.
Hardest thing that I see with the homeless, we'll talk to them, we'll get their spirits up, and they'll be all gung-ho to go somewhere, try and change it around, and then the next day it's back to square one where they're so drunk, passed out. It's just a cycle that we don't know how to break with these people.
I just disappeared and became, I isolated myself from, because I didn't want to be seen because I was doing so well. Well, I felt I was doing so well. I didn't want to be seen by anybody that saw me come through the program. There's a lot of people that work up and down there, and they'd be all over the city. And when I was doing so well, they would blow at me, "Hey, Harold, how you doing? You doing good?" That kind of stuff. And I didn't want them to see me as I was spiraling out of control. You just don't care, man. You just don't care. You try to get back to that comfort zone. And that comfort zone for me so long was getting high. Isolating myself from outside people, the world, responsibilities, you name it. Oh, I knew I was making the wrong choices, but I just didn't really care at that time. Some crimes that was committed was just out of foolishness, let's put it like that. And then some of that was concerned alcohol and drugs, let's put it like that. And when I do alcohol and or drugs, it'll distort my decision making. I don't make the right choices.
Drugs have changed the whole makeup of the criminal justice system. Especially after cocaine and crack cocaine was introduced. When I first started, there were essentially two kinds of drugs that were used, heroin and marijuana. Those that were on heroin were your old traditional addicts. They would steal, petty thefts, burglaries, what have you, pretty much harmless people. They didn't carry guns, they didn't try to kill people. If they burglarized a home, they made sure nobody was in it. After cocaine came onto the scene, more particularly crack cocaine, and now meth, crimes got more violent.
And I went to detox. I just freaked out one night. I beat up somebody I shouldn't have beat up, and I said, "That's it, I need a vacation." And I have somebody call 911. I went to detox. I was there for 6 days. You know, it did me good too. I needed that vacation. But the way we used to drink down here, when we were down here, the way we used to drink all day, every day.
Slept in my car for like 2 months, about 2 months on the side of the mission, drinking and smoking every day, going around, driving around, getting high, provided my habit. I was cutting hair, doing odds and jobs, donating plasma, just so I could support my little habit every day.
There are some Genesis programs for residential treatment. There are some outpatient programs. There's healthcare for the homeless. There's Matt Talbot Recovery House. There's White's Recovery House. There's the Guest House.
Have you tried any of those?
I've tried all the above. What I did was I went in, residential treatment inside, had a bed, food, treatment. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later, your time is up. You can't get an extension. So now you boot it out the door. Now you leave with a couple bags of clothes and maybe a bus ticket. And the question that I was asking myself is, what's next? Now we was a close-knit family. You know, we wasn't the Huxtables, but we was close-knit, you know. We had all brothers and sisters, all families have their little issues, but it was nothing we couldn't work out. We were still tight-knit. They still my brothers. I'm the youngest of the lot, if you will. The butt end of the loaf, that's what they call me. I was the one at an early age where I was always reaching out to them because I got caught with my finger in the cookie jar or the pie or something. I always needed bail money.
Do you have family, Charlie?
I don't know. I have a family one way, but I don't know the other way. I got 3 daughters working Potawatomi. I see them once in a while, once in a great while, but I haven't talked to them.
Me personally, I'm working towards that, building a bridge between my daughter. I have a sister that's a mediator for that for me right now. She's helping out a great deal as far as that. That's a painful thing that I have to deal with.
When's the last time you saw her?
She had been about 10. She's 14 now. About to be 15.
I got 4 kids. My kids are 31. No, Teresa will be 31 June 1st. I got Crystal. She's 21. I got Christopher. He's 19. And I got Cassandra. She's 17. And I got 2 grandkids, 6 and 4. And you know what? I ain't seen them since my dad's funeral. You know why? Because how can I do for them when I can't do for myself? But now I'm starting to get back again. I've been calling, but my son, Christopher, he honestly, to tell you the truth, he got a lot of animosity towards me right now. He's going to be, out of all 4 of my kids, Christopher's going to be the hardest one to get close to. I got 3 girls and 1 boy.
Well, my older brother, he was a machinist like me. He became an engineer. I probably could have followed the same footsteps, but I bowed out after the abortions and everything. My older sisters just became housewives. I don't see any of my family anymore. If you want to see it, I can show you an envelope. I got it over on the other side. I can go grab an envelope. What I got from my nieces and nephews and my mom. I'm kind of proud of it. I keep it hidden. This is for my family. They love me. I know they love me.
Some people just don't want to come inside under a structured setting. Rules and turn your lights off at 10 o'clock and go to bed and study your book and da-da-da, da-da-da. It's not that I don't like rules, it's just some rules I just don't like. But I'm really not the one that like to be told when, how, where to jump. Get up at 6 in the morning, make your bed and stand in line and then pray and, come on. It's just not me. I mean, so it's not like I'm rebellious or anything like that. It's just that I like freedom, if that's what you want to call it. I like to go and come as I please.
Some people can keep on getting high and keep their place. But it's just it's a circle eventually. Yeah, it's going to get the best of you. You're either going to go to jail or the grave. So, if you want to break that, you got to make a choice.
With me, Harold, I think I need to change my behavior and start making the right choices. Well, let's just say continue to make the right choices. Because I think I'm off to a good start right now. I'm making the right choices. As you can see, I'm doing something good. It's not the best, it's not Trump Towers, but it's not the park either. This is going to be a better year because I need to have faith. I need to have hope I need to have something to dream and hold on to. If not, I'm done. So as we approach the new year here, even though I was locked up, I still had to say this is going to be a good year for me. Some people believe this is the year they're going to win the lottery and all that kind of stuff. I believe this is the year that Harold's going to turn himself around. And he's going to be a brand new guy.
Judge, upon the plea to retail theft.
Sir, how do you plead to count 1 retail theft?
Guilty.
You guilty for sharing guilty?
Yes.
The WCS report says he tested positive for cocaine and acid.
It's an addiction that he has, that he's dealing with. He's going to deal with it every day of his life. He is affiliated and gets treatment through the healthcare for the homeless. He's dealing with his mental health issues there.
What did the doctors tell you about your mental health issues?
Bipolar and depression.
He's actually living in a rooming house, Judge. So I think that is a step above just the shelter.
You know, I'm not getting any younger now. I'm getting a lot older now, and it's time for me to put all this behind me and move forward with my life.
That's really, you got 22 days in, correct?
Yes.
And you keep doing what you're doing, this is the way you're going to spend the rest of your life. And at 54, there's a good chance that either you're going to die in jail, or if you don't get off cocaine, you're going to end peacetime service function. You've got your own places to live, you can leave your probation.
Thank you, sir.
I have my own keys. I don't have to go and search for a place to look now. I don't have to go and find boxes to make me a pallet in the courthouse, under the bridge, under the freeway. I got a place to lay my head at now, so that lifts me up. That's uplifting right there. My housing changed. I was in a rooming house on the other side of town. I got evicted from there, so my location had to change. So now I'm back outside behind the courthouse. Couple blankets. There's heat blowing from the air condition, so it's heated. It's secluded out the way, so it's safe. It's okay. It's not the Hilton, but it's okay.
Where are you during the day?
I do a lot of libraries, sit at the library, do a little reading, sit at some parks, just kind of be to myself a little bit. That way, I'm not concerned about getting in trouble when I'm by myself. Now, when I get with the crew and all that, things happen. So I try to, I'm serious about not trying to go to jail. So I need to just sever that umbilical cord with certain people. So that's what I've done. So I tend to stay by myself.
Yeah, I just got out of jail. I was there twice in 1 month.
What? For your
Well, once they picked me up when I got beat up, I was on the sidewalk and they picked me up on a couple cash bails. But I needed to go to jail because I got beat up. If you go to the mission, you gotta go through the service. And I already heard the word. And I heard the word again, And then I heard the word again, I can spell the word. And I've been there. So I don't want to go there, because then I gotta go to the church every night. And I'm not for going to the church every night. I'm for going out with women every night.
Like a lot of homeless guys, they will try to bank as many citations as possible on like the coldest days of the year. But because of the courts, they're out the next day, and they're mad about that.
They call that federal jail their house. There's people like that, believe it. They just call that a roof over my head. And you got people that'll throw a rock through a window in the middle of winter just to go to a jail. They'll throw a rock through a window just to get picked up and put in, because they're cold.
I was just shocked as a young lawyer when the judge said, I'm going to give you 30 days. This is like in November, around Thanksgiving time. And the guy said, I can do 30 days standing on my head. I want 90. And the judge would say, okay, I'll give you 90. It wasn't because the judge was trying to be punitive. It was because the judge knew he was giving this guy a place to live for 90 days in the cold, and he'd get 3 meals a day, and the House of Correction would take him without a problem. And I think he saved lives by doing that. People didn't freeze to death. You didn't find bodies of people frozen. Going to jail, to them was the Ritz-Carlton.
If I had 25 or 30 days to serve, by the time I get done with it, this ugly winter will be gone. You'll be inside, meals, showers, the whole 9 yards. I don't see a problem with that. But I feel him though, if it get that bad, if the bottom fell out like that, I go knock on the door and say, hey, run a check on me. I think I'll owe y'all some days in the House of Correction. Sure I would.
It's very difficult for me to have someone come to me of African-American descent to say, please put me in custody, where my grandfather, his grandfather fought for years to keep us out of chains, and you want me to put you back into chains. And that's something that I have a hard time with, especially if I'm putting you there because you can't pay the fine. So let's look for another way to solve my need of protecting the community and then punishing you for what you did, but also serve your need to rehabilitate you and not have you come back into the system. And so I say it all the time. The general line I give is that, because people always say, just take me now, I just want to go now and do my days. And I'm like, well, I hate to break it to you, but we aren't the Hilton. You know, you can't just check in when you want to come in and say, hey, I'm going to check in, do my 4 days, and check out. It doesn't work that way.
Just Bob went up missing. I mean, we figured Just Bob is gone. You know, first we thought the homicide victim was Just Bob.
You couldn't recognize the guy because he was that beat up with a hammer in the face. Cocaine or money? Well, he got evicted, and then he lived in a motel room for a week with Mark, I believe.
His body was discovered in a river, and when they pulled out the body, it was certainly indicating that it wasn't a drowning and that he was severely beaten, had injuries throughout his body. An autopsy later revealed numerous fractured ribs, cuts, abrasions, a fractured skull, and so obviously that led police to theorize that this wasn't a drowning, that this was a homicide. Todd was killed in, I think it was June 1st or 2nd. And so at that time, Mark Curtis was a suspect, certainly, or at least a person of interest. And about 2 weeks later, I think it was June 15th timeframe, he was arrested. And at the time he was arrested, he was panhandling out by a freeway. And at the time he was pulled in, also there was a Mr. Lester, the other co-actors in this case.
Once we found out the name of the victim, we're like, where's Just Bob? And it turns out that he was the one that actually did it.
There was information that later was revealed that they were all at a hotel in Milwaukee. Mr. Kairola, I don't believe, was invited to the hotel or to the party, but heard about it, came over to the hotel. They didn't want Todd over there. Todd was punched, and I think he lost a tooth out of that incident. They were all kicked out of the hotel. They all went to this campsite, they call it. Todd was there first. I think Mr. Curtis, at least best I can piece together, was quite upset about being kicked out of the hotel, blaming Todd for being kicked out of the hotel. He started beating on him, and then it's a little shaky as to what the other actors all did and who did what, but Todd was pretty much beaten to death with hands, fists, a brick, and then a 2x4. Then the three men took him and rolled him into the river, and that's why he was recovered from the river the next day or so. It's a case that sticks out in my mind because of the brutality of what happened to Mr. Kairola. In my time in homicides, I dealt with over 200 homicides. What happened to Mr. Kairola, the images stuck with me because it was something that took some time, was very violent.
Charlie, when was the last time you talked to your family?
5 years.
So we're sitting across the table from Charlie.
I have no real hard feelings about it, but I...
Would you like to talk? Would you like to talk to him?
Hey, fuck.
Yeah, you want to talk to him? Okay. Just put it up to your head. There you go.
Hello. What's up? Is this John?
College party.
No.
It looks like balls.
How are you? Yeah, we're all...
I wasted it all. It's just slipping.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm staying out of trouble.
She can't get in the
Yeah. No, I didn't know she died. I thought she probably did. I didn't know. Where did she die?
Mental health, I think, caused the homeless situation to go up drastically. We changed the mental commitment laws, which is probably a good thing, but it put a lot of mentally ill people who are able to function in society on the street, but a lot of them end up homeless. I think that's who you see walk around the city and who are the average homeless person that you walk into who's begging. Most of it is mentally ill or some form of mental illness. And that person's not going to change.
Are you getting medical treatment?
No. Well, I had a couple appointments. I didn't go to them. And I missed one appointment. I said, well, look, I just missed another appointment, another appointment, another appointment. You know, it rolls downhill like that. It snowballed until I didn't go.
So what about your medication?
I'm out of that also, but I'm doing okay.
You can be symptomatic of having schizophrenia, bipolar, so you could be delusional, you could be hearing voices, having hallucinations, and you can't force treatment unless they are a danger to themselves or others. It's a difficult path because a lot of these folks are very resistant to help, they're paranoia, and it's a long process of engagement. I would say schizophrenia is probably one of the larger subsections of the mentally ill that are homeless. They tend to be less functional than people that are bipolar, just have a personality type disorder. They tend to be more paranoid than the rest, which might lead them into being isolated and not trusting of being in like a shelter situation where they're being housed with 50 other guys at night. I can look at the law enforcement data, and Jeff looks at the mental health, and now we have that much more of a picture that we can paint of this, and what have they been through before, what their diagnosis is, what treatments have been tried. So we try to kind of gather as much information as possible.
There's nothing illegal about being homeless. There is a problem when people engage in behaviors for whatever reason, because of an unaddressed mental illness, because of intoxication. But as you can suspect, when people have untreated mental illness and don't have the ability to find a safe place to go to address those mental health issues, we find this chronic behavior occurring again and again and again, and the cost of warehousing them in a criminal justice system is going to far outweigh the economic cost of housing them in a supportive network wraparound program, to say the least, not to mention the moral duty of society to address those who have chronic mental illness.
20 years later, I found out through a phone in my head that wasn't an accident, because they put the phone in my head to keep me from going after an old girlfriend or something and beating her up, and I don't raise a fist to nobody. So they got me fucked. There's people on it 20 hours a day though. I have such sleep disorders that I gotta drink 2 4-packs a day just to get some sleep. Because they're on the phone and I want it off. You can't shut it off. I can't run the track across from Potawatomi because it paralyzes me. There's a clamp in my head, and they can clamp me and render me unconscious because they think I'd have some violent tendencies, which I don't have. Nothing will work other than an operation.
What an operation?
They gotta cut your skull open, they gotta pull the phone out, pull the buzzer out of your head. See, they put all this in there so I'd smoke a cigarette.
The vast majority of the homeless that we see have mental health or alcohol or drug dependency issues. And that's also the most difficult demographic, because you want to make sure not only are you taking care of the fine and trying to help them, but they have to understand what you're doing. When you deal with a defendant who's homeless and also has mental health issues and may actually be incompetent, and incompetent to understand what's going on here. I talked to the defendant and I said, do you understand why you're here? And they're saying blue, red, green. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So we can't proceed because you can't the city can't prosecute someone who's incompetent, and I can't sentence somebody incompetent, so the case generally is dismissed, but nothing's gained for that person because they still don't understand and they're still going out and committing the same offenses. And you hear the term frequent flyer, and that's where you get that term from, because it's normally that group that comes back over and over again because there aren't a lot of resources because they're not competent, and we try to give them resources, but I don't have the ability to force them into any resources.
Harold Sloan, 1000566465, disorderly conduct, littering of public property. Hello, Mr. Sloan.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, so you had an opportunity to talk to the city attorney, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it says here that you're going to plead no contest, and the city is actually making a recommendation for a referral to Justice 2000. Do you want to do that, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. That's what we'll do. I'll take the no contest. Your plea to disorderly conduct?
Yes, sir. No contest.
All right. And they're going to move to dismiss the littering citation. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll do that. Do me a favor. Have a seat in those red chairs. I'll have someone from Justice 2000 come down and talk to you, okay?
Thank you.
You got it. Have a good one, sir. Yeah.
I mean, they had a couple options there. They could have kept both of the citations open, which would warrant me to go to the House of Correction and serve some time, but they made me a deal and say, plead guilty, no contest to one, and we would dismiss the other one, which is a good thing, and they just add another couple more hours on community service, which I'm already serving right now. So I think I came out ahead a little bit, but it's just something to get my record straight so I can continue to go up and down the street and show my ID without being in fear of going to jail because of hidden citations and warrants and things of that nature. So I feel kind of good right about now.
What we try to do is we allow for community service, and we have a number of resources out in the community that offer community service. What you don't hear about in the community service is that someone, for the first time or for a long time in their lives, they're getting up, they're going out to a location, they're performing work, and they're coming home. And they get that whole system that you and I are very used to doing because we call it a job, but they haven't done it in a while. And not to mention the fact, we've had people who've done community service and then been hired on by that agency that they did community service with. So ultimately, that's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you. 456.
I met Harold when he walked into the food pantry here. When he walked in the door here, he was a very different person than I had seen before. He was full of light and life, and within 5 minutes, he had made a place for himself. He worked himself into a job here.
When they first started coming to dispensa at this location, people got to know him, and so people like me and others really miss him when he's not here.
I'm not where I want to be, but dang, I'm not where I used to be either. October, November, it's gonna get a little chilly out. Harold don't tend to be homeless. If that's the case, I'm giving up. You know what giving up means? I'm giving up. What I'm thinking about this individualized living that we're talking about. I need my own place, and it's gonna happen soon. I just don't know when. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm doing things to make it happen. Push the button here, go up to the second floor, and that's my place. It's a little apartment building, but it's designed and big enough for one person and one person only, and that would be me. This is it. We have the bathroom here to the left, shower, one bedroom, TV, and it's all mine. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it's clean, it's neat and tidy, and it's up to you to keep it that way. I think it's a very good place for me. I feel like this is like a stepping stone for me. This allows me the chance to see myself, see where I come from, which I could never forget, and to see where I'm headed, which is my own individual, independent living. I'm working on getting my driver's license. So I'm doing a lot of studying for that, because when I go and take the written test, I want to ace it on the first try. I remember every day that I was out there, because, I mean, whether it was 95 degrees outside or 40 below zero with the wind chill, I was out in it because I had no other choice, no other place to go. I'm alcohol and drug free right now. And see, that makes a big difference. Now, when I was out on the streets with nowhere to go, trying to figure out where I'm gonna lay my head at for the night, I would always probably drink and drug. And see, and that would cause me to have a abundance of citations. I'm no longer one of the homeless people that they talk about. Because I know I've talked about them too. I don't talk about them now because I'm still one. In fact, I'm just 30 seconds away from the wrong decision and being homeless. So I'm very grateful for what I have. And I think about this all the time. And Faith about ready to make me tear up too. She's about ready to make me tear up too. Oh, God.
I really like your place, man.
I love it too.
We're a meaner society today. We're vindictive. The bottom line is I think we have a real screwed up system today. And it isn't even, and it isn't fair. And it's no longer balanced. At one point in time, it felt balanced, and we're out of balance. And that's how I would view the criminal justice system today.
The frustrating part of my job, and the thing that I have to realize, is I'm only one small part of the picture. I don't really have direct access to a lot of services, so I have to rely on partnerships to try to get that done. And I think that when we look at kind of the economic downturn, the community-based resources, the social resources, you know, those seem to be the first ones cut when times are tough. Given the financial constraints that we have now, we have to look at other ways of protecting the populace. And I think when you're dealing with a population like a homeless population, there are so many needs that hopefully can be addressed that I think are the cause for a lot of the behavioral issues that we deal with. You know, if we can prevent the crime from occurring before it happens, then everybody wins.
The way we're going right now, hoping to be, say, the leader of homeless outreach for police departments in the country. Right now, there's approximately 40, and there's another class up to 100 at the end of March going in.
This is truly helping someone. I can go and give somebody a ticket as a police officer to not speed and to try to manipulate behavior, but when you can go into a situation where someone has a knife up to their body and they're gonna do physical harm to themselves because they lost hope, and to be able to, over a series of minutes, gain rapport and turn the situation around and pick that person up with dignity and respect, and to deliver them the resources that hopefully will make a difference in their lives. It's just an amazing, I'm just honored to be able to do this work.
Well, I was actually inside the office, and I was scrolling through our open investigations, and I came across Harold's name. So I opened up and started reading what happened. Just in shock. It was just a call for a sick injured person, and when the squad got there, he was on the floor. The fire department declared him DOE.
If you do this long enough, nothing surprises you anymore. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. So 6 months ago, I saw a change in him, and then he stopped coming around, and he stopped returning phone calls. He didn't show up at Thanksgiving at my house and didn't call, and that's not like him.
I was kind of not surprised though, but because Harold was still Harold. You know, he still did with those same people, and you just changing places. Now you're indoors doing the same thing, so you might as well just put your keys down, the door open, and just go out there with them and do it, because that's where you're gonna be. You might as well get used to it now. and that's just, it's bad.
I've lost a lot of people out here. You have too. We have loved and lost a lot of people to these streets, to heroin, to suicide, to all kinds of ungodly, awful things.
Meeting him was probably one of the best things that could happen in my life. Not only did he tell me about like his testimony or his story, but me hearing it, I guess, definitely influenced the decisions I was making in life and definitely made me want to turn around because I knew like the outcome, and he told me what the outcome would be. Like, it's either jail or death. I mean, it's the only way out of it. I realized that what he was telling me was true, and then that's when I needed to turn my life around because that could be me.
Many of the homeless people in our community start their day out here and walk what's called the trail. And I know for many years, Harold walked this path from here to go get meals and shelter throughout the day. So we decided we would do it one more time in his honor.
He gives some good advice, but if you don't heed your own advice, you know, that was just how Harold was. You know, he really good advice, tell you where to go, place to be, where to avoid. But those are places he's going and things he's doing. See, you can't do that. You know, you got sometimes you got to talk in the mirror and just that advice you're giving him, tell it to yourself.
He never forgot where he came from and pretty much jumped on every opportunity to give back, and he was a joy, just a complete joy. It was like he needed this place so that he had one place where he wasn't known like he was known on the street, where he got a fresh start every time he came here. Harold got the idea that you can make somebody smile and a smile changes their life. So everybody who walked through the door he joked with, he reminded people of the treasure that they truly are.
The hardest part is getting them into housing or into a program and then seeing them a few months later back out on the streets.
Well, the county's new housing initiative seems to be an opportunity to address some of the chronic homeless that are finding themselves on the streets of downtown Milwaukee. I am hopeful that when we have new resources that are able to reach out, that there will be another option for residents, for neighbors and businesses to contact, to take the stress off the police department into an entity that can actually provide those services that would have more of a meaningful outcome rather than simply removing the person.
It's been another rough winter, seeing a lot of new people coming from all around the country again downtown, looking for help and services. When it gets really cold, trying to find everyone and get them at least into a warming place for the night. And if they don't want to go, then we offer them the clothing, and there's been some of them that still refuse, even when it's well below zero, to go anywhere. So we try to load them up at least with blankets and just keep an eye on them. Unfortunately, you can't keep a track on the hundreds out there.
As I walk through Friendship Park today, I see many new faces in need of a connection, and I wonder how many of their stories we will never know. After years of living this cycle of chronic homelessness, the launch of Milwaukee's Housing First initiative offers hope for these men. While it is too late for Todd, Mark, Bob, and especially for my friend Harold, it is my hope that the people in the park and who sleep in all the other parks throughout the country will soon see better outcomes than jail or death.
showing some love. Don't kick me out the door all the time. Show some love. Let's open up some long-term programs for some long-term people that's been doing this for a long term.